Tonight, CBC News travels into Hezbollah territory. Rare access to southern Lebanon.
We're being very tightly controlled on the ground here by Hezbollah.
Inside, a city damaged and nearly deserted. Shock and horror after a Toronto woman is arrested for 3 murders in 3 days.
This is madness.
Families of 2 victims police say were killed randomly speak out. Keeping Gord Downie's memory alive.
That's my brother up on stage. I just was so proud.
Mike Downie on his new Tragically Hip documentary.
It made me miss him more.
And the touching reception after its premiere.
You are ahead by a century.
In the Sunday interview.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hennemensing.
Tonight, CBC News takes you into Lebanon's south to a city at the heart of the growing Middle East crisis under the control of Hezbollah. That as Israel again ramped up airstrikes in Beirut overnight. Several blasts could be seen across the capital, some causing secondary explosions, sending burning objects back into the sky. At the same time, Israel has issued new evacuation orders in parts of southern Lebanon, warning more strikes are coming and any neighborhood with ties to Hezbollah is under threat. One such city is Tyre. It's Lebanon's 4th largest, but it's also just 20 kilometers away from the Israeli border, making it a dangerous place that's now nearly deserted. CBC News made the complicated journey to Tyre. Access by journalists who took the trip was tightly controlled by Hezbollah. Senior international correspondent Margaret Evans shows us a city in ruin and why some refuse to leave.
The road to southern Lebanon. Villages hollowed out by Israeli warnings telling residents to move north or face the consequences of staying behind. This is Hezbollah territory, and once you reach Tyre, about 20 kilometers from the Israeli border, you can't operate in the city without letting them know. They've arranged a media event for journalists, unloading boxes of aid for people here who can't or won't leave. Watching the display, Abu Mohammed, a Palestinian born in Lebanon in 1948. He won't send his family away, even though a ground war may approach. They told my parents to leave Palestine and that they'd go back. But they didn't allow us. The Israelis tricked us. They're liars. Israel says it's targeting Hezbollah positions and weapons. Tyre, a coastal beauty with a population of more than 100,000 just a few weeks ago, is now a shadow of its former self. Our escorts take us to see a damaged neighborhood in the center.
We're being very tightly controlled on the ground here by Hezbollah. They've taken us here because they want us to see this. Obviously, it's the scene of an airstrike, and we're told that a family died here, a couple, their daughter, and their grandchildren.
Tyre's municipality building is now an emergency center, helping more than 6,000 people in the city.
They prefer to stay here very close to their villages. And we can't push the people to leave the shelters.
Mortada Muhana calls the situation critical.
Hezbollah or not Hezbollah, all the people living here is civilian, not parties, not political.
Downstairs, volunteers are cooking for the displaced, some themselves displaced, like Umran, since last October, when Hezbollah began firing rockets at Israel in support of Hamas. We are looking for safety and moving from one place to another, she says. The vast majority in Tyre has already gone, trying to outrun a storm that has blown this way before. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Tyre.
With thousands of Canadians still stuck in Lebanon, the government says it's trying to line up more commercial plane tickets to get them to safety. But the logistics are challenging, and as JP Tasker shows us, stress is mounting for those who are waiting.
As Israeli airstrikes pummel parts of Lebanon's capital, some Canadians are desperate to get out.
The hotel was shaking left and right all night long as airstrikes were blowing up so many areas around Beirut. It was crazy. People are scared.
Ahmed Araji says he asked Global Affairs Canada for a ticket out 1 week ago. The government has reserved seats with commercial airlines for Canadians and permanent residents. But Araji hasn't heard back.
Extremely frustrated because I don't know how the escalation is if it's gonna get worse or better, but from the looks of it, it's probably gonna get much worse.
On Saturday, Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister asked for patience.
We still have 2,500 calls to make. We'll be doing these calls over the weekend to make sure that everybody is reached.
By Sunday night, GAC says it has contacted 5,000 people and helped about 1,000 leave Lebanon. But still a dangerous journey. Canadians Dodd and Hussein Tabaja were fleeing their home when their car was hit by an airstrike.
It's raining bombs.
That has Nick Kawaji worried about catching a flight home to Vancouver. He booked his own ticket for October 10th, but now wants out sooner.
We will be scared till the plane will be out of the airspace.
For some, the journey to the airport is risky, but waiting for a possible government-backed evacuation is dangerous too, says Canada's ambassador.
We have a plan, we are ready, but Canadians certainly shouldn't count on it.
A concern echoed by the Prime Minister.
It will be extraordinarily difficult for the tens of thousands of Canadians who are currently in Lebanon.
That's why Araji wants Ottawa to come through now.
So many people are just waiting and they don't know what the near future holds.
Canada has lined up more flights out of Beirut for Monday and Tuesday. That means up to 1,000 more people could get out. But past Tuesday, no guarantees yet for those still stuck. JP Tasker, CBC News, Ottawa.
In Gaza, at least 26 people have been killed after Israeli strikes on a mosque and a school. Palestinian officials say the buildings were being used as shelters to some of the nearly 2 million people who have been displaced. Adding children are among the dead, and more than 90 people are injured. However, Israel says it conducted precision strikes on Hamas targets operating within the buildings. One person has been killed in southern Israel after a shooting at a bus station. The victim has been identified as a 19-year-old female police officer. Investigators say others sustained injuries, though none are life-threatening, and the shooter was killed at the scene. This attack comes as Israel prepares to mark the anniversary of the attacks on October the 7th. Around 1,200 people in Israel were killed that day, sparking a year-long war in Gaza. Health officials say more than 41,000 Palestinians have been killed. Chris Brown went to a kibbutz where a Canadian was murdered and shows us very different views on Israel's response.
In kibbutz Be'eri, this place is now known as Death Row.
Why do you call it that?
Because each house, they went in, they killed everybody.
Neely Bar Sinai has brought us to see the worst of the carnage inflicted on her community a year ago. Her husband, Yoram, who was 75, was shot dead on the balcony of her daughter's home.
He shot and they shot, but there were 7 and he was 1.
He may have saved their lives.
I hope he didn't suffer long and he was not taken to Gaza. So everything is relative, everything to what happens here.
She recounts the evil that occurred here with the matter-of-factness that comes with repetition. But her thoughts on Hamas, the Palestinians who support them, and critics of Israel's unrelenting attacks on Gaza are laced with anger.
You don't think the world understands?
No, because I think they have a much better propaganda, much more efficient. Like you asked me about the 40,000 people that were killed there. It is not civilians who were killed. It is not civilians.
The UN says more than 6,000 women and 11,000 children are among Gaza's victims. One of the people Hamas killed in Be'eri was Bar Sinai's friend, well-known Canadian-Israeli peace activist Vivian Silver.
Yeah, I miss her. My kids miss her.
Yonatan Zygan says, like his mother, he rejects those who say a military solution is the only course left.
I didn't see the problem as Hamas gunmen murdering my mother. I saw the problem as the conflict and the occupation.
Her death transformed him, leaving his job as a social worker to follow in his mother's activism footsteps.
We have seen it again and again. Every time we kill the biggest monster, a bigger monster emerges.
He says Canadians have a role to play too, that they have not done well enough.
If they would have been really wanted to be constructive and to help the Palestinians and the Israelis, they would put down the flags and raise the banner of peace.
You know, I was not that naive as Vivian because she came from Canada.
Zygon and Bar Sinai remain friends, though she believes Israel had no other path than the one it took after October 7th.
Maybe someday they will accept us, and until then we will have to have, occasional rounds of killing.
A sentiment that, while divisive, remains widespread in Israel on this solemn anniversary. Chris Brown, CBC News, Barrie.
Later in the hour, a chilling account of survival on October 7th.
When we began to hear automatic gunfire inside our community, and very soon inside our neighborhood, and soon afterward outside our window, that's when the fear actually began.
An Israeli author shares harrowing details of the hours he spent in a family safe room hiding from the horror outside. That's coming up in the breakdown. Here in Canada, families of the victims of an alleged triple murderer are searching for answers tonight. 3 people were killed in 3 different Ontario cities over 3 days, 2 at random. Lisa Shing now with the shock and horror their families and friends are now grappling with.
The card games go on at this Italian social club, but without one of its regulars.
He was a gentleman and a scholar and a judge of fine wines.
Just a very pleasant man, quiet, humble, just an excellent friend and member of the club.
That friend, 77-year-old Mario Bilic, a retired teacher, stabbed to death in Hamilton, Ontario, Thursday. Bilic's daughter, Serena, posted, "I sit in a puddle of tears thinking about my dad, a great man with a huge heart." The alleged killer, 30-year-old Sabrina Kaldhar, arrested in a nearby city, now charged with 3 murders. Security video obtained by CBC News shows Bilic's final moments, leaving the Italian club to head to his car, while Kaldhar allegedly followed him. And here, the same woman running from the crime scene.
We were all taken aback. I mean, my goodness, this is madness.
Bilic is the last of 3 people police believe Kaldhar killed in 3 different cities in a span of 3 days. The others, an unidentified woman in her 60s in a West Toronto neighborhood, the only one who police say Kaldhar knew, and 47-year-old Lance Cunningham in a Niagara Falls park. In an email to CBC News, his wife Kim wrote, "He was my best friend, a wonderful father for our daughter, the fun dad. He did not deserve this." So far, police say there's no clear motive, and since the victims were both targeted and random,
it is allegedly a case of serial murder, but it also again has a lot of these traits that are more closely aligned with historically what criminologists and homicide scholars would call a spree killer.
Niagara police say the accused had previous interactions with police but never charged Kaldhar. Now they're trying to find out whether any other attacks in the province might be linked. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
CBC News has also obtained new video showing the scene just before and after a fire broke out in Old Montreal. A mother and her 7-year-old daughter were killed. Sarah Levitt now with a look at the footage and calls to prevent another tragedy.
As investigators sift through the rubble searching for clues of what happened here, a family is left in mourning. A fire broke out Friday morning at this Old Montreal building housing a restaurant and youth hostel. A mother, Léonore Gérardi, and her 7-year-old daughter, Vérane Renaud Gérardi, were killed. They were visiting from France. Radio-Canada obtained this security camera footage showing somebody kicking in the restaurant door, then running away, smoke billowing out. A criminal investigation is ongoing, but for many, this tragedy felt like déjà vu. In March 2023, a fire broke out at another Old Montreal building. 7 people died, most staying in illegal Airbnbs. Both buildings are owned by Émile Benamour. Both had fire safety violations, though a number at this latest building were fixed.
A lot has been said and written about windows and rooms.
In both buildings, some rooms didn't have windows, but Montreal Fire says that's not required.
In terms of fire safety, a window is not considered a means of escape. In this case, it was not an issue.
The similarities are painful for Randy Sears. He lost his son Nathan in last year's fire and says his family has been plunged back into mourning. We needed accountability and deterrence against something like this reoccurring. Now this happens, as close to a carbon copy as one could ever imagine. Quebec's public security minister says it's important to look into both fires and if there's any connection.
We will see in the next weeks and the next days if it's possible to combine these two inquiries concerning these two tragedy.
That's not enough for Randy Sears. He calls it a tragedy of errors that seemingly nobody has learned from. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
In the U.S., an investigation is underway into a terrifying landing in Las Vegas. You can see flames and billowing smoke as this Airbus A321 touched down. Frontier Airlines says smoke was reported in the cockpit as the crew made their final approach on Saturday. The tires blew, but no injuries were reported. Passengers used the stairs to reach safety. With the U.S. election just 30 days away, Donald Trump is doubling down on a dark message to voters. A Kamala Harris presidency could mean the end of democracy. Chris Reyes now with a closer look at that rhetoric in this campaign push.
It's the countdown that's got both campaigns firing on all cylinders.
Just 30 days from now, we're going to win the state of Wisconsin. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris.
She's going to be elected the next president of the United States. Obviously, in the next 30 days, we have some work to do.
In one of the final weekends before the vote, Donald Trump issuing an ominous warning if he loses.
And this would be your last election. And I can see it. Remember, I used to say we'll be Venezuela on steroids. Take over, Elon, just take over.
That warning repeated by Elon Musk, who excitedly joined Trump at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, the site of July's assassination attempt. He demanded the crowd go out and vote.
If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important.
On the heels of visiting Hurricane Helene's aftermath in North Carolina, Kamala Harris released a new ad on Trump's role in the January 6 riots, based on newly released details from special counsel Jack Smith.
This is bombshell after bombshell after bombshell.
She also hit Trump hard on abortion rights on a newly released podcast.
This is the same guy who said that women should be punished for having abortions?
Meanwhile, surrogates from both sides were out in full force playing defense.
The January 6th situation has been amplified to a level that I don't think is almost believable to so many people.
Middle class and everyday folks are going to get a bad deal under Donald Trump.
With no signs of the rhetoric cooling down in the final stretch of the campaign, one big concern is this.
I think there is a very real danger that there could be pockets of resistance or violence, or at a minimum, deep challenge to results that hold things up.
That uncertainty looming large over a country that could see one of the tightest presidential elections in recent history. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
The U.S. is bracing for another major storm just days after Helene brought devastation.
Helene, 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 Helene.
How celebrities are stepping up to help as people pick up the pieces.
This is Mr. Albert Choi.
Murdoch Mysteries unveils a new character with a familiar face.
Tailored suit, baby, from like the 1900s.
We go behind the scenes, and some Halloween magic shows up at the window.
Kids who are staying in the hospital are going through such a difficult situation. So this is something that is going to bring a smile to their faces.
We're back in 2. Residents on Florida's Gulf Coast are bracing for yet another potentially dangerous storm, just 10 days after Hurricane Helene hit with lethal force. The death toll from that monster storm rose again today as crews comb through the destruction. Yvette Bren shows us the damage and the warnings about what's to come.
In the hardest hit parts of the U.S. Southeast, the cleanup is only just beginning. Troops on the move to help with the rivers of debris.
It's absolute devastation. Even just this valley through here is decimated.
The death toll keeps rising. More than 227 people, the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina. More than half the victims were in North Carolina, where tens of thousands still have no power or water. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris visited the state this weekend and helped put together care packages.
Some of the people who are most generous have the least to give.
Dolly Parton riffed off one of her biggest hits while donating $1 million to hurricane relief.
Helene, 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 you came in here and broke us all apart.
All this while another storm is expected to grow into a hurricane over the Gulf of Mexico and hit Florida by Wednesday.
Wherever Milton's going to make landfall, somewhere on the central Gulf Coast, it'll be the fifth landfalling hurricane. So, it's certainly intense.
Especially with so many still processing what Helene put them through.
I held my foot like that.
Kathy Poole shows how she braced against her door. This couple fought to fend off floodwaters.
She really fought it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
That was why I was put on this earth. My husband would have drowned if I hadn't been here that night.
Others see a reason for hope.
Hey, they thought the wind and the rain and a hurricane was going to show up, but guess who showed up? Jesus!
Finding faith before another storm hits. Yvette Bren, CBC News, Vancouver.
Israel is set to mark a grim anniversary, a brutal attack that began a deadly year-long war in Gaza.
But I have never heard the sound of bullets hitting a wall inside my house while I'm in the room next door.
The Current's Matt Galloway speaks with a father who hid with his family for hours to stay alive. And I sit down with Gord Downie's brother on capturing the evolution of the Tragically Hip.
It made me miss him more.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next. Murdoch Mysteries is back for a new season with a new recruit played by a well-known star. Eli Glasner met Paul Sun-Hyung Lee on set, where he's solving crime and tackling stereotypes.
Who the devil are you?
This is Mr. Albert Choi, the new inspector at Station House 4.
Versatile actor Paul Sun-Hyung Lee has jumped from Kim's Convenience to sci-fi and fantasy, and now into the past.
Wonderful to see you, Paul.
Tailored suit, baby, from
there
like the 1900s.
The actor sure looked the part, but for Inspector Choi, fitting in isn't as easy.
He's American, which is another thing too, and he's also of Korean descent.
Yeah.
So he's a man he's a worldly man, and he's bringing all of his talents. He's had to work very, very hard to get to the position he is in because of his, position in life.
Ed Asner.
Ed Asner
Was on the show. He played in a Christmas episode. It was wonderful.
Oh, how perfect.
William Shatner.
You want to go back to him?
Lee is the latest renowned actor to join the show set at the turn of the 20th century, but with storylines that strike modern chords, like housing.
This was the beginnings in 1911 or 12, where actually it was important to the citizens of Toronto to have community housing. So how did that look like? How do we do it? So that is something obviously we're grappling with in our world right now.
Right. Nice to see you again.
But not everything's serious. Take the episode about mole people.
There was a theory that there were people living underground. There are people who think that now.
Right. So you can explore conspiracies, you can explore flat earthers. Anything is fair game.
Anything is fair game, and it's quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
I've heard a great deal about it.
Between the fun and solving crimes, Paul Sun-Hyung Lee hopes the audience takes something else away.
We've had a couple of scenes where people look at me and go, "Oh, you're the new inspector, huh?" because it seems like they're hiring anybody nowadays. And little things like that, I think, are telling, but they're truthful.
Giving the audience something to think about as Murdoch Mysteries moves forward. Eli Glasser, CBC News, Toronto.
Now let's break down the stories shaping our world. The peace of an early Saturday morning on an Israeli kibbutz shattered.
They are firing through the window into our living room, trying to break the glass.
A father barricades his family in a child's bedroom. A harrowing wait, holed up in a makeshift safe room.
So we are in complete darkness, physically, but also communication-wise.
Amir Tibon survived that October 7th morning and wrote about it in a book. He sat down with Matt Galloway, host of CBC Radio's The Current, to share his chilling story.
How did you and your family end up living in this kibbutz?
We moved there in 2014. On that year, there was a very long war between Israel and Hamas. A mortar launched from Gaza killed a 4-year-old child by the name of Daniel Tregerman. And then with this, tragedy happened. And I heard that a lot of families were leaving this kibbutz. My wife and I made a decision that we're moving there. It was an ideological decision based on our Zionist ideals.
Amir Tibon has now written a book called The Gates of Gaza, which is all about his decision to move to the border kibbutz and his experience on the 7th of October of coming close to losing his family over that decision.
Go back to that morning of the 7th of October and that sound that you heard, that shrieking. How did you and your wife initially react when you heard it?
It's 6:30 in the morning. It's a Saturday, and we're in bed. We have no worries in the world. And suddenly this whistle wakes us up, and we immediately understand what it is, because we've lived in Nahal Oz for several years. It's a community very close to Gaza. It has been bombarded over the years by rockets and mortars, and we know that we have to make a run for it. We don't even think about it. It's an instinct.
And you have 7 seconds to make it from where you are into the safe room? And that room is your children's bedroom.
That's what most families do. For the parents to run to the children's room, then the other way around. We have 2 daughters, 3.5 and just under 2 years old on the day this happened.
When did you start to realize that this day was going to be very different?
Only after 7 a.m. There was an hour, there was about half an hour during which we are in the safe room, our girls are sleeping, it's dark, and we are bombarded, but we are not so worried because we've been through this before. Over the years that we have lived in Nahal Oz, there have been all these rounds of fighting between Israel and Hamas, and that's what I thought we were expecting.
In fact, Tibon and his family could not live any closer to the Gaza Strip. Their kibbutz is just 800 meters away, separated only by the wire fence Hamas fighters entered Israel through on October the 7th.
After 7 a.m., when we began to hear automatic gunfire inside our community, and very soon inside our neighborhood, and soon afterward outside our window, that's when the fear actually began to arrive. But I have never heard the sound of bullets hitting a wall inside my house while I'm in the room next door. A cell of 5 Hamas terrorists standing on our front porch. The door of the house is locked. The windows are all shut and the blinds, electric blinds, are rolled all the way down. And they are firing through the window into our living room, trying to break the glass and the blinds so they can get in. And that is a very, very strong sound. This is an invasion, really. It's not a terror attack even. It's an invasion by an army of terror. And that is a very scary thought.
What was going on with your kids?
From 6:30 to 7:15, more or less, they were sleeping. Because my girls, Galia, at the time 3.5 years old, and Carmel, back then just under 2 years old, they were born and raised in Nahal Oz. And they were accustomed to this reality of explosions and sirens. They don't mind it. They're used to it. So at first, they're just sleeping in their beds. And what wakes them up is the gunfire, a noise that they're not accustomed to, that they've never heard before.
One of the other messages that you got was from your family, from your mother and father, who were not there. They are away from there, but they understand eventually what's going on. Tell me a little bit about your dad in particular.
Basically, they just understood that something very, very bad was happening because I told them at 7:15 we have terrorists on our doorstep. And they just decide to come there themselves.
To try to rescue you?
Yes.
Tibon's 62-year-old father is a retired Israeli army general. He raced from his home in Tel Aviv to the kibbutz an hour and a half away. He encountered Hamas fighters en route and killed several of them when he came to the aid of other soldiers who also headed south to help. By the time he reached his son's safe house, his family had been sheltering there for 10 hours.
This is an incredibly risky thing for them to do. And at one point, they stop and they're trying to decide whether to go forward or not. And your mother says, what if I told you, she's talking to your father, she says, what if I told you about a couple who are less than 10 kilometers away from the home of their son and 2 granddaughters? And they can go to try to save the family, or they can stop and wait at the side of the road for someone else to do something. When you heard that, what went through your mind that your mother had said that?
Well, it didn't surprise me because she's a very brave woman and always had been. And I know how much she loves her granddaughters. It's an hour and 10-minute drive on a regular day. On that day, it eventually took, for my father at least, to arrive to our home, 8.5 hours.
What happened when he got there?
So he entered our kibbutz shortly after 1 p.m. and he joined a group of soldiers which were basically the first military force to come to Nahal Oz. And he started scanning the kibbutz with them, going from home to home and knocking on people's safe room doors, telling them, you're safe now, you can go out, you can get, a bottle of water, you can use the restroom, and then go back in until we tell you that, we're organizing to get you out of here. And close to 4 p.m., they arrived at our house. And we were in the safe room. We didn't know that this was happening because by that point, our phones had both run out of battery. So we are in complete darkness, physically, but also communication-wise. And then we hear this knock on the window of the safe room, like bangs that, with an open hand. And we heard his voice. And Galia, our older daughter, the 3.5-year-old, she said 2 words. She said, Saba Hegia, grandfather is here. And there were a few minutes that we were very happy and relieved. But then the most difficult part of the day began. More difficult even than the morning hours. And that's when we started hearing the stories of what happened to our neighbors on that day. And those are hours that were even worse than the morning hours because of the pain that we were beginning to experience.
It's a remarkable story, and I'm glad you're here to tell us about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
One of the most deadly attacks on October 7th was at a music festival where more than 300 people were killed and dozens taken hostage. One of the attendees spoke with Adrian about that tragic day.
1 year later, it's no easy, this situation this year. Very, very difficult.
Last October, she was excited to go to the Nova Music Festival in the Negev Desert, was loving it.
We start to hear the bombs, the missiles,
October 7th, hell was raining down. Scared souls running, hiding for 15 hours, eventually saved and forever changed. Are you sometimes still afraid?
For sure.
October 7th also marks the start of a brutal war in Gaza, where thousands have been killed. CBC News has not been able to get inside Gaza since the conflict began. But one man has been our eyes and ears. Adrian checks in with Palestinian journalist Mohammed El-Saifi. You can catch both interviews tomorrow right here on The National. Next, a new docu-series about the Tragically Hip becomes personal.
Said I'm tragically hip.
Mike Downie tells me how he set out to put his brother's career on film.
Said I'm tragically hip.
5 friends from Ontario making music the way they wanted. A meteoric rise to rock icon status.
Multiple generations of Canadians decided that the Tragically Hip were our band.
The Tragically Hip, the soundtrack of a nation and a source of pride.
I don't think I was ever at a hip show where I didn't elbow the stranger beside me and say, that's my brother up on stage.
Their story captured in a new docu-series airing on Prime Video. I sat down with Mike Downie, the filmmaker who directed that documentary, a tribute to his younger brother, Gord. It is a beautiful documentary. And as I watched it, one of the things I was thinking is that you would have spent hours poring over video of your brother. Pictures of him, but also interviews with him. And what was that like?
At times it was really emotional. It was always emotional, Ian, to be honest. You know, I've said in the past that working on it made me feel closer to my brother, but I don't know if it really did. It made me miss him more, the more I worked on it. I feel like over time. And then I'd have these little moments going through my brother Patrick and I have all his old notebooks. And, you know, going through those was fascinating. And then something would occur to me and I'd be like, oh, no, I won't ask him. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But going over Gord's old performances and stuff like that, yeah, it was like everything. Like I would feel excitement and I would feel some sadness and a lot of gratitude for what he did, which was, you know, a guy from a real small town, and I don't mean Kingston, I mean Amersfoort, because that's where we grew up. And then we moved to the big city, which was Kingston. And so for this guy from Amersfoort to achieve what he achieved over all these years, like I'm still processing it. Like part of me is still, now the documentary's out, is still like, did all that really happen? Did it really happen? And it's like, yeah, it really did happen.
If you only just sink it, man, and I don't want to swim.
So as the older brother who sees his younger brother join a band, the band gets bigger, it eventually becomes iconic. I mean, maybe an overused word, but nothing is more iconic in Canada than the Tragically Hip. What was that experience like for you?
Exhilarating. I don't think I was ever at a hip show where I didn't elbow the stranger beside me and say, that's my brother up on stage. I just was so proud. And there really hadn't been anyone, you know, in our family, you know, history to, certainly not to do what he did, but to also be in the limelight like that and to be so confident and on stage and in his creation to be so confident. And I don't think I ever got used to it, you know, that how incredible it was.
It's been a long time coming.
One of the appealing things to me about the documentary is beyond the fact that it's about a band, it is about, as you talked about friendship and about fame and about creative tension and about grief. What stands out to you in terms of those kinds of themes?
You know, to me, I really feel like it is it's about family. Like it really, the five guys are a brotherhood. When you start at such a young age, and when you have such a, you know, their cause was common. They believed in the same thing. They were going to, you know, create these songs. They weren't going to go for radio hits. They were going to, for Gord, who became the head lyricist, they were going to tell Canadian stories. They weren't going to try to make them neutral so that maybe an American audience would assume that they're talking about their small town. So, you know, I really feel like, you know, for the band, it was a family. And by the time we get to August 20th, 2016, where the Hip are performing from Kingston, Ontario for, I think, half the country, 12 million, 13 million people anyway. That family now, I think, includes, you know, 12 to 13 million Canadians, because we're, you know, having this, we're saying goodbye to this band and this great singer, person, Canadian, And I think for a lot of the people, they're also saying goodbye to a little part of themselves as well that was touched by this band that they felt really invested in. And let me tell you, Hip fans are very invested with that band. So yeah, I think family really kind of covers it all.
Let's move back to another performance on Saturday Night Live. And again, a generational thing, but I think that for a certain generation of university students in particular, they remember exactly where they were when that performance happened, rooting for the band. Where were you?
I was at home hosting a party in our apartment on Mutual Street in Toronto, and taking pictures of the television set. Like, you know, with my, you know, DSLR camera, trying to get really good pictures.
And probably didn't.
They don't really turn out that great when you take pictures off the screen. But yeah, that was, the excitement was so palpable. And it was an amazing night. It's an amazing story of what
Well, the
what
revelation
happened.
in the documentary that they were a little too stoned.
It's a pretty nerve-wracking event. Even the sound check and the run-through in the afternoon, literally, we're like, holy f. So the geniuses that we are, we thought, well, maybe we should just smoke a bit of a reefer before we go. You know, it's never hurt us in the past.
Yeah. There's another part that didn't get in, Ian, which is Gord, our nephew, Jay, that was his 11th birthday. And I guess shortly before Gord left for New York, Jay said, you know, if there's any way you can give me a little, you know, something for my 11th birthday. So Gord actually, at the beginning of the performance, goes like this.
Said I'm tragically hip.
Oh, wow.
For Jay.
Nice.
11.
Come on, just let's go.
There's some beautiful moments, of course, in the documentary, but there has been at least one beautiful moment outside the documentary, and that was at the Toronto International Film Festival. And Choir, Choir, Choir sang. I only saw the footage on TV, and it was quite striking.
Yeah,
what was that like for you?
It was amazing.
You are ahead by a century.
Because of this 4-hour screening at the Royal Alex on King Street in Toronto on the opening day of TIFF, and then to have that emotional experience, and then for that, then walk out the front door and to have these guys waiting for us. It was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. Yeah, that was a proud moment. And that was hard not to think about, think about my brother watching something like that and how proud I think he would be. Yeah, it was really great. It was really fun. I mean, you know, the Hip don't perform anymore. So, I mean, besides 2 occasions that were very specific, yeah, to have everybody out there doing the singing, you know, for them, it's pretty cool.
Well, lots to celebrate in the documentary. It was really well done, and nice talking to you.
Yeah, real pleasure, Ian. Thank you.
It is obviously a love letter to all the Hip fans, but Mike also points out that there are a lot of Canadians, maybe because of their age, were never really into the Hip, but he hopes after they see the documentary, that will change. Next, a Halloween treat for children at a Winnipeg hospital.
When they see these superheroes in the window, they're just ecstatic.
The superhero appearance in our moment. Spider-Man and Batman were seen rappelling down the side of the Winnipeg Children's Hospital on Friday, giving patients and families inside a thrill. It was all part of a charity event to spread some Halloween cheer, and tonight these suspended superheroes make our moment.
So what we're seeing right now is a lot of volunteers dressed in superhero costumes. So you'll see Batman, you'll see Superman, you'll see Spider-Man, and they are rappelling down the side of the Children's Hospital building. They will stop at each window and wave to the kids who are standing there waiting to meet them. It's called Suspended Superheroes. It is very special because it's a way for kids to celebrate Halloween. And it's also a fundraising event. You know, kids who are staying in the hospital are going through such a difficult situation along with their families. So this is something that is going to bring a smile to their faces. When they see these superheroes in the window, they're just ecstatic.
Do you all have a favorite, superhero?
Mine's Spider-Man. Mine's a dog.
A dog?
It's an important day for kids, but also their parents to just kind of, forget and enjoy their children being children.
What a cool annual event, the third time they've done it. And speaking of fundraising, it made $50,000 this year. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the National's YouTube channel. I'm Ian Hannamansing in Vancouver. Good night.